Welcome back to day 3 here at Gamescom for us at Paradox Interactive. We are live and we are going to talk a bit about the next cities expansion called Green City. I'm here with Miska from Colossal Order.
Hi.
But before we talk any about that, we should go for the and have a look at the trailer, Susie. Okay, I'm very pleased with that city, with that trailer, because I built the city and it was a joy to build. Actually, it was really fun. It was really easy-ish, but it was nice to be able to get a pretty city, and it's probably the prettiest city I've ever built. Not that I'm biased or anything. Now, Miska, you've been here demoing for 2.5 days. Well, third day.
Yeah.
How's the reaction been so far?
It's been well. I'm like happily surprised about the reception. like, I myself, I really like the expansion and like how it offers new ways to customize your own city in different ways. But what's been brought up like in many discussions here in Gamescom is that the topic is very relevant at the moment, like all the global warming and that sort of stuff. So this lets the players to like play with that theme.
Yeah, and we're gonna look. I thought we'd get into the game straight away because I want to talk to you about the challenges of pollution a bit later.
Yep.
But as you've seen, I've made the most amazing starting city location.
Oh, this is lovely.
In the sense that I'm running with unlimited money. We're losing a bunch of it, but I thought we'd show off some of the features. As you can see, we have issues with police.
Yep.
And we desperately need more houses. So I thought I'd let you show off the new residential eco buildings and kind of explain how they work, because they work slightly differently than the normal low and high residential buildings.
Yeah, that's right. We have new specializations for practically now for each of the zone types. We used to have specializations only for industry.
Yeah.
Well, there are a couple of new ones with the other expansions. But,
yeah, so you could have ore specialization or farming or forestry.
Yeah, so we already had some limited options for playing like a green with the base game, but this offers much more possibilities. We have like a new specializations, for example, for office zones and commercial zones and residential zones. And now, as you suggested, let's build some new houses for the people.
Yeah, let's build some nice self-sustaining houses.
Yeah.
Also very very nice and proper of you to go for the roads with the trees. Looks lovely. Very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
That is also, speaking of aesthetically pleasing, that was horrible pipes.
It was probably the worst I've ever done.
So to make this work, right, we have to make a district that sets a policy, which we'll see how. I was going to say they're going to move in before you can set the policy if you're not quick about it.
Okay, but I'll make a district here, for example.
And this is essentially the same way it works for the commercial districts and the offices as well. You set a policy, and then everything within that area are kind of forced to build according to the residential specialization.
Right.
Which in this case is self-sufficient buildings.
Yeah, and as you can see from here, how they work is that they consume less electricity and they produce less garbage, but then again they generate less tax income.
Yeah.
So there's a kind of a trade-off there.
I think we should. I just realized we didn't have any in-game audio, so we need to have some of that lovely wind blowing.
Yeah.
So here we go. So these buildings should now be under the new policy, and they should be building in self-sustaining ways, and they'll look slightly different. And I think one of the new fun things as well is that these are not just one-level buildings. Some of the previous policies for didn't have several. You can level them up basically, but these have 5 levels.
Yeah, that's right. They have 5 levels like regular residential buildings, and you can see the visual change in the buildings. Like the first level buildings, they don't have that many like special features, but as they level up, you can see they have like solar panels on the rooftops and rooftop gardens and that sort of stuff. But you can already from here see that they look a bit different from the regular.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is I don't know if this is true or not, but for some reason I get the feeling that a lot of the self-sufficient buildings have a lot more like outdoors chairs and tables and just meeting areas. It seems like they're having a nice like lush lifestyle where they sit out on the veranda having breakfast, whereas the harsh normal cities buildings, like they don't care. They just want to be indoors, just hang out, not do anything.
Yeah, I guess so. Like yeah, that's true. The design is a bit different, and how the overall layout of the houses, and there is maybe a bit more like a yard space.
Which is nice.
Yeah, that is.
And there's also, I mean, we're not going to cover everything in this stream, but there are also some, like you're just showing. So this is officially it's an elementary school, but it's called something else, right?
It's a community school.
And they're essentially the same thing as the elementary. It's just basically just looks different.
Yeah, well, they have a bit more like greener stats.
Okay.
But maybe the biggest difference is that they have a bit lower student capacity.
Okay, so they're not exactly the same. It's not just it's not an asset swap.
Yeah, that's right. But they also serve a bit bigger area. So there might be cases where you want to use them instead of normal elementary schools. And in general, I'd say that we've added a bunch of new city service buildings here, but we tried to do it so that they are not just like asset swaps.
Yeah, so they're different. So there is a choice to make whether to use the old one or the new one.
Yeah.
So we managed to clearly we have a very successful village in the sense that we have pretty much demand for everything. But one of the things I wanted to talk about that I mentioned at the start was, so as a game designer, how do you deal with pollution? How about if we start with, so why is pollution in the game to begin with? Because we wouldn't have this expansion if there wasn't pollution, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'd say that one of the original reasons for that is just to balance out the game a bit. So, for example, you'd have to separate the industrial areas from the residential areas somehow. So you just cannot mix everything together. So that's like a game mechanical reason for that. But now because cities is also much more than just like a city builder game in that sense that you just have to overcome challenges and so on. So we wanted to offer more different options and choices to actually build a greener city.
Yeah.
So it's not just like about how to make the city layout. So now there are like other challenges which relate to, for example, many of the green choices they are a bit more costly, or they have some kind of upkeep cost, or they reduce your tax income
Yeah.
and so on. So you have to like wiggle around those.
Yeah. No,
challenges.
I was talking to Sandra, who I normally stream with, and she was like, with Green Cities, you kind of have to work with the budget a bit more
Yeah.
than you had to do in like vanilla City
Yeah.
Skylines, which is interesting. Horrible for me since I don't want to deal with the budget. I'm like, why is the budget not working? I'm just going to add more stuff over here instead.
Yeah.
There's and for those that don't know, when we're talking about pollution, the game currently has 3 different types of pollution. Like there's water pollution, there's ground pollution, and then there's the pollution that I never care about, which is noise pollution.
Yeah.
And the noise pollution is getting some major changes. Not in the expansion, not in Green Cities. It's coming in the free patch together with
That's right.
with the expansion, so everyone gets that. Can you go through what the changes are and why they were made?
Yeah. The noise pollution changes are actually related to 2 new vehicle types that we are adding to the game with this expansion: electric cars and biofuel buses.
Yeah.
And when we were like thinking about how they would affect the gameplay, we came up with an idea that kind of led to a big overhaul of the whole noise pollution game mechanic. And previously, noise pollution was pretty much based on the road type. So
Yeah.
the bigger the road, more noise pollution it made. But now every vehicle type has its own noise pollution value.
Yeah.
And of course, like electric cars and biofuel buses, they generate less noise pollution. But now it's really relevant, like what kind of vehicles you have in your city and where the traffic is, because that's where the noise pollution is getting generated.
So now you have more options basically, because you mentioned the new vehicle types. Do you mind showing the, because those are in the policy, right? Because there are a few new policies coming with Green Cities. I thought we could go through them.
Yeah, okay, we can. Electric cars, they are part of the free update that comes with the expansion. By default, a small portion of the vehicle base is changed into electric cars, but with the expansion you get 4 new policies, and 2 of them are something that you can actually use to tweak where the vehicles are.
Yeah, we have our face cam straight over the policies, so I'll move that for everyone, because otherwise it'll be kind of it'll be kind of awkward to see what's going on. Let's move ourselves over here instead. Better. There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
All right. So with the policies you can you can control how large amount of the vehicles in your city are switched to electric cars. It has an upkeep cost, but that's a way to control it much better.
Yeah.
Also, there's a combustion engine ban that you can set to certain districts where you don't want normal combustion engine vehicles to go.
So one of them is basically the combustion engine ban is those types of engines are not allowed, whereas the electric cars policy is more like encouraging people to use those.
That's right.
So both are kind of allowed in a sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have any more new policies under taxation and services?
We have filter industrial waste, which reduces pollution. Yep. And then we have recycled plastics, which makes recycling centers more efficient. And actually, we have here a landfill, and
I guess this is something we can talk about, the new recycling center.
Yeah, because this is actually a good example about how we wanted to make the new city service buildings change the game dynamic a bit. And here we have a recycling center. It pretty much works like landfills. It collects garbage and stores it, but it also processes it and changes some of the garbage into goods that are usually produced by the industrial zones. So the more you have these, the less you need industry in your city.
So basically, everyone's running around in secondhand clothes.
Yeah.
So there's a. I was going to mention this. So I specifically put the industry in the forest so that the trees would look horrible. And while I don't think I did put down a sewage outlet. I think if you zoom out, I don't think most people have noticed this, but we are actually playing on one of the new maps that are shipping with the expansion, which essentially only has one. Well, there's a river running alongside, but it has a nice big lake, and I was like, I wonder if I have time to pollute that whole lake.
Yeah.
Because I'm polluting one side of it, and then I'm pulling water out the other side of it.
Yeah.
So if this keeps going, people are going to be sick.
Yeah. This map, it was called Lavender Lake. And,
Yes.
I think this is one of the most interesting ones of the new maps. Exactly because you have to start with this, like an awful situation.
Yeah.
Well, and well, it takes some time when you can get more map tiles, but eventually you'll get to this river and you can solve the problem. But before this lake gets polluted, you have to do something about it.
Yeah. So what are the things you can do about it?
Well,
Because I think this is pretty neat.
yeah,
He said, knowing exactly what's going to happen.
yeah. Well, first of all, we have added some new options for the sewage treatment. There's a eco water outlet, and then there's a eco water treatment plant, which is now the most efficient way to deal with sewage.
And these are also, we're playing with unlimited money here just to show things off. These are expensive enough that I'd be very impressed if you actually managed to buy them at the start.
Yeah.
But here we are,
Yeah. Okay.
buying them at the start.
Yeah. Let's do it. So first, let's put it on pause so we don't like poison the people. We can get rid of these.
Yeah, we don't need those anymore.
Yeah. And let's replace them with these bad boys.
Yeah. I don't,
Some pipe work needed. There you go.
there we go. So now everything's basically the best it can be.
Yeah.
When it comes to water treatment. I'm actually slightly sad I didn't have time to run it long enough that the whole the whole lake was polluted. But we've been busy here in the streaming studio doing some local recordings that will hopefully come out later on next week. So we'll leave that for now and then come back in a few moments. Oh right, we do have a floating garbage collector that you might want to.
Yeah, because
wanna mention.
we have now a situation where the water is quite still, so it doesn't like move. The pollution doesn't like flush away. So we could add here a couple of these new floating garbage collectors, and these floating buildings are actually something new, completely new building type that we are adding.
Yeah.
So they are buildings that you can place on water, and as they are floating buildings, they float. Yeah. Okay, but we are opening this for modders, so modders can make their own.
So part of I guess we can show that off as well in the free patch. There's going to be one of these building types, so that modders have access to it, even if they don't get the expansion, and that's the floating cafe, right?
Yeah.
So normally, so the what am I trying to say? The cafes or the what am I? Yes, that bit needs to have some type of road connection to it, but the
oh, sorry.
I like how somehow you managed to. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
That's perfect. It's lovely. So the bit on land has access to a road, but it also means that the floating cafe, which is in very choppy water at the moment, can just float around and still count as it has a road connection.
Yeah.
Kind of. And that's part of the free update.
Yeah, this is part of the free update, and yeah, that's right.
So we still have a lot of demand for residential. Do you think we can build some eco high level high residential rather than the low
Yeah, we could.
in Strawberry Park? See if we can get some larger buildings.
Let's see.
Well, the buildings are leveling up, so that's nice. So, how long, like, when did you start thinking about it would be nice to have like a green expansion with the challenges for like sorting out pollution and everything else that's kind of in here, like the policies with level buildings that level up, that kind of stuff. When how long has it taken from the idea happening to it actually being where it is now?
I must say that I think it was like pretty early on, like quite soon after the release of City Skylines, when we started talking about the green, like adding this like a green cities kind of theme, but.
Because I know some of the previous expansions have been a lot like, yes, this is natural disasters. This is something the fans wanted.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the expectation is having horrible things happen to your city, and same with mass transit. Would you say that this is more of a this is what we need? We can't stand being in polluted cities.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but maybe there was like a more demand, or just like it needed some time, so we got the idea ripe enough
Yeah.
to actually do it. And now I think that there's like when we take into account all the other expansions, there's like so many other things that you can already do with your city. So now when we have this green cities, it's kind of like a how to put it, like it. I think that it's now even better within other expansions than if it would have been one of the first ones.
Yeah. I saw that we had a question from Twitch chat asking about. So, are there any ways or indicators, or is there a score system to kind of see how green your city is?
Well, you can always take a look at the pollution info view. That's one thing. But other than that, there isn't any dedicated system for
No.
that. But on the other hand, there will be 3 new scenarios coming with this expansion, and they are all built around this green theme. One of them, for example, is a scenario where you start off with an industrial city, which is all polluted and people are unhealthy, and you need to make it clean and people healthy again.
Okay. We also have some we also have some questions about when the Cyberpunk DLC is gonna show up. Like when can we finally build our Cyberpunk cities of tomorrow?
Oh, I cannot comment on that.
So probably next expansion. That's
Yeah,
what you're saying.
although I'm a big Cyberpunk fan myself, so I would like to see it right away.
What was I? Oh, one of the things I really liked, and this is one of the tiny things really, but I thought we could show it off as well. Trees.
Ah, right.
And they are, yes, they're over in landscaping, because I know I've used a lot of them. And so we have some new trees over here. And are these part of the expansion, or are these part of the free update?
They are part of the expansion, and there will be like 100 new assets, new trees, and new other props that you can use to decorate your city with.
Because I really really like these trees. I don't know why, but especially the really tall redwood-ish trees.
Oh yeah,
These ones. Those are my favorite.
Yeah, they are super cool.
Because now that there are more like tree assets, you can. I find myself making a lot of like non-parks where where you put down like a bicycle path and a walking path, and then just a bunch of trees and maybe some rocks around it, which looks really nice, especially since if you're going for like I tend to go for like, oh, citizens should be biking, citizens should be using electric cars. It means that they're out and about walking more. At least that's what it feels like,
Yeah.
and they're actually using the walking paths, which looks really nice. And I'm like, yeah, look at what I've created with my my mouse and keyboard. There we go. It's a lovely path. It takes a while before you get the flow down if you haven't done it for a while.
Yeah.
And then you just go trees everywhere. And it looks great straight away. And
There you have it.
And these are also the times when I've been playing with this. I've been waiting for like, I want the tree brush mod back, because of course when I've been playing with this, I haven't been, since it's a beta, not all of the mods are compatible yet. But you're like tree brush. See, look how lovely that is.
Yeah,
It's almost as lovely as Lungs of the City.
that's true. One of the new unique buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So we are, with the expansion, there's going to be 6 new unique buildings,
Yep.
and when you have all them built, you can build the ultimate recycling plant.
Whoa. Which is it the ultimate recycling plant, or is that just is it just a fancy word for a good recycling plant?
This is ultimate in that sense that it handles garbage, but it also produces energy and goods. So it will solve quite a few problems, or at least help solving
Yeah.
them. And the new unique buildings, they are all built around the green theme. So there will be different kind of parks and, for example, a climate research station.
Like Curb Zero says, ultimate recycling plant making Soylent Green? Question mark. Very possible.
We cannot comment on that.
No, it's a ludicrous idea.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have that much time, but I thought if people were observant enough, which I'm sure some of you were, you already saw this when we looked at the pollution. But I thought we'd go back to the edge of the lake there and see what's been happening.
Okay.
So we can see that it's kind of, there's still pollution in the lake because it's a still lake. But around where we're actually dumping the water, it's slowly but surely disappearing,
Yeah.
and just paying to get rid of it. So and I when you're putting these next to a river where the water is actually flowing a bit faster, you can pretty quickly see the effect
Yeah.
of these sewage pipes.
Yeah, that's true. Like I'd say, like within seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really fast.
it's actually I was surprised the first time I saw it. I was like, did I leave it running or is it this quick? But you can actually get rid of a lot of pollution, which is really nice.
Yeah.
It also, of course, I guess it's still easy, but you can still make everyone's favorite like poop tsunami by filling a dam up with poop. But
Yeah.
right, there's also we might as well go through some of these. These are some of the new ways to produce energy.
Yeah,
Right.
and as we are now running out of electricity soon, I thought that we could build one. And here's one of the new. We used to have hydropower plant and solar power plant, but now we have 3 new options.
So we have geothermal, solar updraft tower, and the ocean thermal energy conversion plant.
Yeah, monster of a name, but
Yeah.
but still. Yeah, all these are actually based on real technology, and I must say that before I needed to do a bit study a bit different kind of renewable energy technologies. I didn't know that this kind of thing exists. This solar updraft tower is a kind of a alternative for solar power, or it uses like a solar power in that sense that there are like mirrors at the base, and they direct the sunlight so that it heats up the tower, which is filled with salt water or other liquids.
Yeah.
And then it stores the heat, so even it works even there isn't no sunlight like night times and so on. Basically a big battery.
Yeah, so we also have a question from Busby about making resources endless, and that's actually a mod you can enable in the base game. It's available.
That's
we're
right.
actually running with endless resources in this save because I was like, I want everything. Nothing's allowed to run out. Not that we're going to run out in the half an hour we have to stream, but still. We're actually. You know what? We're doing surprisingly well, considering how quickly we built this. I mean, we're losing a lot of money, and it's not a sustainable, it's not a sustainable town, but it's very green so far. So we have some questions about air pollution, and air pollution's not in. There are 3 different types of pollution:
Nope.
noise pollution, ground pollution, and water pollution.
Yep.
At the moment. And is there a reason for? I'm sure we've had the question before, but just from a gameplay perspective, why are those the types that you decided to go with for the game? It's a tricky question in the sense that I just threw it at you.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I wasn't at the very first discussions.
You're like, this is not my fault. I recuse myself.
Yeah, but I'd say that the reason is that these 3 different pollution categories kind of like cover enough.
Yeah.
But let's see.
I mean, I guess it's one of those things as well as air pollution, sure, it's a thing, but does it look that different from ground pollution?
Yeah.
How can we actually see it on the map? It seems like both ground and water are they're always visible. In the sense you can kind of see how your ground or water in this case kind of affects everything. While noise, it's slightly more difficult to see, except people get cranky. I guess someone can probably make a smog mod so that if you're trying to make a nice cinematic shot over an industry area, it's just cloudy and dusty all over the place.
Yeah.
We are unfortunately, this is quite a quick reveal stream because you have more demos to get through, and we've been at this for about half an hour now. And if you're interested in more more content from Green Cities, rest assured, you guys have been demoing it, and more content will come shortly in a few weeks' time. At the moment, we do not have a release date, nor do we have a price, but once we know, of course, we will reveal that. And last and least, since it's not related to Green Cities, I did see some questions about what about console. It's something we're definitely looking into, but we have no concrete answers yet, no time frame. But stuff's hopefully happening. Miska, thank you so much.
Thank you
for making my city greener, even though you just put down a big industry area. It's a farm. You're excused. I did not see that. Oh, okay. We actually have a price, says Marlin. So it's $12.99.
Oh,
according to Twitch chat. So hopefully she's referencing Green Cities and not another expansion, because that will be awkward for me. Okay, good. That's this is me third day at Gamescom. Sometimes I forget things. We will be back in about half an hour with the next Crusader Kings 2 expansion with the Hendrik Frias. Once again, Miska, thank you so much for coming by. And guys, thank you so much for watching. See you soon.